Well, everyone, welcome to my bucket list day. Today is the big day where I reveal the epic fail that I had up in North Carolina that basically put this channel about 4 months behind. So I bought about 7.5 gallons of DEF fluid that my truck needs. So while I put that in here, why don't you go ahead and take a look at this, and I'll be right back. Well, welcome back. I'm just finishing up putting the fluid into the truck, the DEF, and we'll get right into what happened. Basically, I'll give you a little heads up. We're going to jump right into it like tearing off a band-aid. I totaled my trailer. The way it happened wasn't how you're thinking. It wasn't on a highway, it wasn't driving. Well, it was kind of driving, but it was more maneuvering. I had made reservations at a particular RV park who told me on the phone that, yeah, we have big rigs in here all the time. When I got there, it was a little difficult getting in. By that I mean just turning into the entrance. They had a sign in the way that I couldn't make the turn because they had rocks at both sides of the entrance and I was going to run over the rock. So the lady who runs the park ran down the hill, saw me trying to get in, and apparently they have this issue all the time, or often, and she pulled that sign out of the ground, threw it off in the grass, and I was able to swing my truck over that area and fit in, but barely fit in. So when she showed me where the campground was, or the spot was, I should say, it was up this little hill, and then it leveled off, and then you had to go back down to get out of it. And I was a little uncomfortable with it. But she told me and swore up and down, big rigs get in there all the time. I'm like, well, against my better judgment, against my gut, I went ahead and did it. So I pulled in there, and in doing so, because of that undulating, it actually grabbed my generator exhaust pipe and broke the bracket holding that up. That was really the only problem I had getting into that spot. However, once I got in that spot and got ready to set up, I discovered the power didn't work at all. Now, the park manager, I think her name was Barb, and she was very helpful in trying to figure out why it wasn't working. And after going through breaker boxes and things like that, we decided that it'd probably be better for me to go ahead and move to another spot, which they only had one other spot. So she showed me where the spot was, and I was like, boy, it's going to be difficult to get out of this one before I even think about that other spot. And she says, oh, you can make that swing. And again, my gut was telling me, this is too tight. It's too undulating, too much of a hill. I don't know. But she kept insisting that it'll work, it'll work. You know, big rigs go through all the time. So again, against my gut, I listened to the park manager. Let this be a lesson to all of you watching. Never, ever listen to the park manager. Always go with your gut. Your gut is always going to be right. So I didn't, and this is what happened. So this is what happens when you go into a park that says you can fit, but you can't. The whole back end of my RV just pulled right off. You can see my clothes in my closet. That's what I came out of, because it had no power that worked. You can see right into my toy hauler. Tore the back end completely off, and I'm stuck here. can see the angle of this place. Needless to say, I'm pissed off. Pretty shocking, isn't it? I laugh at it today, but I wasn't laughing that day, as you saw. But this campground, Hideaway Campground in Bryson City, North Carolina, it's a beautiful area. However, this campground I would advise you to completely avoid if you're over 30 feet long. And it's pretty much a mobile home park anyway, with permanent residents there. They really only have, I think, 3, maybe 4 sites that they are campsites, and they're not the greatest condition. Yes, it's not supposed to be like this.
And we'll be over shortly. Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Because of the drama and everything that was going on that day, I had forgotten to pick up the camera and basically record how we got out of there. It was kind of a big effort. So some guys showed up that helped me. They're kind of RV recovery experts, towing things and so forth. And long story short, we had to dig out a trench on the driver's side of the rig, about 4 feet back and 2 feet deep, so the RV could be a little level, and then we had to build a bridge for both axles to lift it up off the ground and make that whole area level. The bridge was something like 20 feet long on one side and about 8 to 10 feet long on the other side, so we could get it up there. And anyway, this took several hours, and again, I apologize I didn't record all this. Once we got it off of that berm I was stuck on and got everything straight, another thing happened. I couldn't pull ahead and circle around to get out of the park because they had all these cable lines hanging down. So the park manager had got a bunch of neighbors and got brooms and everything else, and a couple of their maintenance people on the top of my rig to lift all the cables for cable TV that are strung across the roadway, connecting everybody. They had to lift them all up so my rig could fit underneath it. So clearly, this campground is not set up for big rigs, even though the park manager booked it for me and knew what I had and said that, yeah, there's plenty of room for me in there and I can fit easily. And she made claims that other big rigs are in and out of there all the time. Clearly that was a lie. The guys that actually came to recover me said, "What are you doing in this park?" I said, well, they had availability. Clearly I didn't do enough research of the area. The first few I called were completely booked up, so this one had availability. I should have done more research. At any rate, they were laughing. I said, yeah, a rig this size should never be in that park. Ever. There's no way. So we finally got it out of there, and we got it towed to their facility, and that's what you're going to see next year. So I'm at an RV place with my home that is potentially totaled. We're discovered that maybe the frame has been bent. Here it is, all covered up. The back end has been torn off, so they got it covered in tarp for now. I've never seen anything like it. But the back's all torn off. It's covered up. We've got it strapped on so it's not hanging on the ground. We've noticed some fluctuation in the frame because up front we have a tremendous amount of buckling. I don't know if that's going to show up here on this front panel and underneath. That was all really smooth before, but now it's buckled and caved in on both sides, which is an indicator that the frame has been twisted. Which, if that's the case, it will be totaled. I should be crying right now, but trying to put a positive spin on this. Well, I don't know if there's anything positive about it. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm now homeless. I'm going to go sit at a hotel for a day or two until I figure out my next move. Catch back with you later. So that was messed up, wasn't it? So basically, what I had to do is I had to figure out what I was going to do and how I was going to recover from this. So I got a hotel in Asheville, North Carolina, where they had good cell service, because where I was at, they had basically no cell service, no hotels in the area that had any availability. So I went into Asheville, North Carolina, which is about an hour and 10 minutes away, and got a hotel, stayed there for a couple of days, and made a bunch of phone calls. Not only the insurance company, but a few of my friends to line up places to stay while I am figuring out how to get a new rig. And then I rented a U-Haul trailer, and I went back to the recovery facility and I unloaded everything I owned out of that trailer in anticipation it was going to be a total. The guy who helped me recover the thing, he looked at me and I looked at him when we saw the waving on the front of the rig, and we both concluded right away, oh yeah, this frame is probably twisted, which is a total loss when that happens. You can't repair the frames. So with that U-Haul trailer, I dragged it back over to that facility, loaded everything up, and then headed back down to Florida and loaded everything into a storage facility, and then started couch surfing for the next 3 months until I was able to get a new rig. Let that be a lesson to all of you. Trust your gut. Don't trust them. So that's it on my rig. It's totaled. I will tell you, the insurance company, it took a while. I will say I had Geico insurance. They're actually very good, treated me well, because it took them about 3 months to settle my claim. So I'm back here at Lazy Days RV. Supposed to be picking up my new Momentum. However, they ran into a little snag with getting parts in time and getting everything completed. It's raining pretty hard right now, so I'm waiting for the rain to let up a little bit, and then I'll head on in there and find out the status of everything. So then I picked up the rig, the new one, dragged it back to near where my storage facility was, got a campground, and then made shuttle back and forth with my truck with loads of stuff and reloaded everything back in there, into this rig that we have here. So, yeah, a lot of drama. It kind of sucked. I look back at it now and I laugh, as it's quite an adventure. Not one I'd like anyone else to go through, and not one I definitely want to go through again. But perseverance, I guess. I was bound and determined to go on the road full time, and bound and determined to create this channel, and I didn't give up. So that's pretty much it. That is huge. A lot of crap that I had to go through that basically put this whole journey on a 4-month hold, and the launch of this channel on a hold. So anyway, I've got my new rig, as you can see. I'm back on the road, and moving forward, the videos are going to be more reflective of what I'm doing right now, not months ago, like what happened in North Carolina. But before we go, we got to have that special video clip to see if you guys can figure out where it's at. I got to come up with the name of it. It's not just the video clip, it's the where in the world is this? I don't know. I'll work on it. I'll come up with something. We're going to come up with a title for this. Tell me where this video is, and don't forget to hit the link below to go to the contest page of the website, where you can enter where you believe it is. And if you get it right, you get your name entered into the hat, the virtual hat, for a chance to win on July 4th. So here's the clip. Anybody have an idea where that is? If so, go down below here, click on the link, and enter what you think it is. Thanks so much for watching, and I appreciate it always as if you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit that bell. Then you'll be notified next time I launch a video. So stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, and make it a great day.